Hello everyone. Welcome back to Enso_org. My name is Joe and I will be one of your two hosts for today. I hear some sound on my desk where there shouldn't be sound. I don't know. Let's hope it's okay. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Thank you for returning and watching our show for the 5th week. This is the second from last show. If you are new to the channel, this is the channel for Enso, the dual representation programming language. It's a programming language that has both a textual and a visual representation targeted at data problems and data processing, but also general purpose. It can be used for all kinds of fun things, as we have been demonstrating on this live stream. So this is live stream number 5. We're going to be revisiting some work we did in the past on the show today. But just to run you through some of the stuff we've done to date, we did an initial language tutorial with the textual language, following the Learn X with Y format. That's now available up on our GitHub. We built a web server using the Java interop. So Enso is its own programming language, but it has really great interop with a bunch of languages powered by the GraalVM. And we were able to wrap an existing Java web server that's in the Java standard library and make a web server for Enso. We'll be returning to that today. I'll tell you more about that in a moment. We also then had a stream with Ara, who's in the chat, another one of our compiler engineers, where Ara and Marcin spoke about some of the ins and outs of designing a language that can have both a textual and a visual representation. And then last week, we hacked around with visualization. So one of the cool things with the visual Enso is every node in the graph has a visualization attached, so you can see what's happening with your data in real time at that spot. We used that Marcin used that to make an Enso riff on turtles, which worked a little bit differently. As he said at the time, it was an algebra of shapes rather than a procedural draw this line, turn X degrees, draw the next line. But hacked that into the visualizations using JavaScript, which is super cool. So this week, we're going to be revisiting our HTTP server and extending it with server-side rendering. So right now, it allows you to define endpoints and routes and catch requests. We're going to help it respond to those requests with something a little bit more interesting. No JavaScript today. Thank you for joining us, though. Well, I guess there might be JavaScript. I guess that's part of server-side rendering. Who knows? But we're going to be returning. We're going to be responding to those requests with something a little bit more interesting than just JSON blobs, and we'll be sending back some HTML with some more info put in it. So I'll add Marcin on the moment, and we'll kick off talking about that. Sorry, Marcin. I don't know how much JavaScript you've got planned in your templates. Before that, though, let me run down the many list of handles. Here comes the parade of handles. You are watching us right now on twitch.tv enso_org. If you want to keep up with when we go live every Tuesday at this time, except for after next week. So next week is the end of this season of this show. And then we'll be taking some time off to work out what we do for you next. So next week is the last show for a little while. We're not sure when we'll come back yet, but we will announce that in all of the usual places. And those usual places are twitter.com, enso_org. You can follow us there to get updates on releases of Enso and also when we'll be going live. You can join us in the Discord for all of your Enso questions and comments and things you're working on, and to chat with the community and also the developers. And again, we announce everything that happens on there. It's really fun in there nowadays. It's been really booming and active since the pre-release, but also before, but especially since the pre-release. And there's always great discussion in there, so please come join us. It's a good time. And of course, if you want to keep up with our dev blog and any announcements which are big enough to be blog worthy, you can follow us on Medium at enso_org. And for all of the code things, to get Enso, to download the releases, to check out what we build on the stream, it is github.com enso-org for the GitHub organization, where you can find everything. And in particular, sorry, I'm going to stop playing with a pen while I'm streaming, /Enso for the project homepage, as we will. I hear I will soon have an actual website to refer to that's up to date, rather than keeping referring to this one GitHub repo. Wojtek, our CEO, has been working with a really cool designer on a beautiful redo of the Enso site. So it will no longer be Luna Lang; it will actually represent Enso, and I hear that's coming along nicely. So we'll share more about that soon. But for now, let me add my co-host in. I hope Martin's ready. Surprise, adding to the stream. Sufficient warning. There he is. Hello.
Hi.
How are you doing
How
today?
are you? I am very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm also good. Bringing a chaotic energy to the stream today, which is what we like.
Mood, yeah.
Yeah.
Same here. I don't know why this day is not very good for focus, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, be perfect. So I have said in my words what we're doing today. What did I get wrong?
Right. So everything. Well, no, just some of the things.
Okay. Cool.
So yes, we are going back to the HTTP server. That part was correct. There is going to be a lot of JS because, as you said,
I just can't escape it.
Yeah, as you said, Enso is a polyglot language, which means we can code in Enso, but we can also code in Java. And as of the previous release, we can also code in JS. Yeah. And we are going to be abusing that. So my idea is let's plop some JS onto the existing project and see where that takes us. So yeah, polyglot JS today, backend side
Perfect.
JS.
Oh, I did not realize that. That's very exciting. Very cool. Awesome. Polyglot. The ability we spoke about polyglot JS in the past, particularly in the Learn X and Y episode, but the polyglot JS reaching like a nice usability stage is like a relatively recent thing, right?
Yes, correct. So
cool.
The feature is like a week and a half old at this point.
Perfect.
And yeah, I figured out what we can use it for.
Nice. Awesome. Wicked. So I think a good place to start, obviously we are building on top of a library that we built now 3 weeks ago. Would revisiting what that is be a good place to start?
Yeah, I think so. Let's
Let me throw up your screen. Martin can hear himself, sorry. I'm on, also warning to the viewers, I'm on a new computer, and so everything is weird. And please, if anything looks or sounds weird, please let me know. Wonderful. Okay, can you hear yourself now?
I don't know. I will let you know if I can hear myself again.
Perfect. Okay.
Sounds good for now. Yeah, I think so. Okay. So what I have on screen is the repository in which we plopped this library 2 weeks ago and almost not touched it at all. Wait, that was 3 weeks ago, not 2 weeks ago. As GitHub is helpfully telling me. Right, so if you go to enso-org/http server, you can find the library that we have created so far. Let me show you some of the functionality. Well, all of the functionality. It's not a very rich library yet. What we can do is we can create a server and we can define a bunch of routes, and those routes are handling given HTTP methods and are accepting a callback that takes the request body and is supposed to return a string that will be sent back to the as the response body. I actually have it running here, and if I switch to my browser now, here you can see that I have this server working. So if I go,
Very
oops,
nice.
that doesn't exist.
I have it working 404.
Oh, right. The trailing slashes are important in Java for whatever reason. So like if I do this, we get this. And if I go to the route A, we can see that it responds with route A, which is what we would. Also, I have some nice logging. So every time we hit a route, I have an information. And you can see that all of this is coded here, right? So I go server.create, and then I have this nice builder pattern that I also want to talk about because this is a nice Enso feature that we have not shown off before. But anyway, I have those 3 routes defined. I have some logging, and I'm responding with very simple HTML. All right. Yes. Let's talk about how this builder works. So if you watched the stream last time, last time we were doing HTTP server, this was much uglier. This required you to, well, every time you would call server.route, you would get a new server object, and you had to thread this server object throughout this whole execution, which does not look great in text, right? Because you have to like come up with fresh variable names for no apparent reason. So what I'm using instead is the feature that Enso has, and it's currently very under-advertised, but it's monadic state.
It uses the M word.
It uses the M word, which is monad. Well, let's not use the monad word, but there is some implicit state that you can thread in Enso executions. So if you look at how server.create and server.route are actually operating under the hood, let me go to this file. When I call create, I take a builder. This tilde here means that this is a lazy computation. I create a new server, and then I run it in monadic state for the type server. So I start with a server with an empty handlers map, and then I call the builder, and then I return the last state of the server, right? And what the builder does, what the route method does, is it gets the current state of the server, so state.getServer, and then it modifies the server using some method on it.
Cool.
Right. So this allows us to sort of have this server variable hidden from the user, so you don't have to. It sort of behaves like mutable state, but it's not really mutable, right? It's just functions that modify their, like, take an argument and create and return a modified argument, and all of that is happening under the hood.
Nice.
So yeah, cool. That's the one refactoring that I have performed between the versions.
It's looking very neat and tidy. Like, this is
like
Express.js minimalism now. It's beautiful.
Yeah, one of my favorite patterns. Actually, our testing framework that we use for testing all of the standard library of Enso also uses the exact same pattern when we have like
Incidentally, whilst we're talking about that, those your testing files are like some of the best examples of how to use all the standard library functionality out there.
Yeah, that's true. We like our tests.
Yes.
Okay.
So thank you for running us through what we did in the past. Where are we starting today?
Well, so there's a few things that we need to. So okay, what's my vision behind this? So we have an HTTP server that is, to be honest, quite useless, right? So first of all, we have no server state, right? There is no way we can store any user data. So we will have to think about that. We will probably start low level again, and then maybe refactor to our nice state monads, because everything is using Java under the hood. Like, we are using a Java library under the hood in this example. So everything needs to be rewrapped to match Enso. But we will start kind of low level to add the server state. And another thing I want to do is I want to use our beautiful polyglot JavaScript to do server-side template rendering. So we will be writing some EJS templates, and we will be rendering them. We'll be rendering them server-side and populating them with variables coming from Enso. So this should be a quite cool flow.
Hugh, are you doing okay? you're being very excitable in our chat. React DOM. No, fortunately not. Perfect.
Okay. So, let's start with talking about state.
Yes,
because that's going to be.
So this is one. How web servers deal with state is one area where I feel like I have a really broken fundamental understanding, thanks to like all of my web server dabbling ever being like Node.js specific. So I feel like the way I assume all web servers work is like very tied to the Node event loop, which is probably not how Java's works. So
yeah, it's a great question, and one
that wasn't shade. That wasn't shade. Oh, sorry, I've confused people with the title. Hermit Code, is Enso on Rails anything to do with Ruby on Rails? No, Hermit Code, this was a joke that Martin said earlier that I took too far. We're building server-side rendering in Enso today on this live stream. So Enso is another programming language. We are building out some web capability for it, and so the joke was made earlier that we're building Enso on Rails, and so I decided that was a good stream title. It is nothing to do with Ruby on Rails. I'm very sorry if I've misled anyone. Sorry, March, I completely interrupted you.
That's fine. Right. So how do servers deal with state? Most of the time, it's through the use of mutable variables, and moreover, this is also true in most functional languages. And the reason for that is you really want your servers to be multi-threaded most of the time, right? Like you want the same logic to be running on multiple threads to make them as fast as possible, which means mutable variables or pretend statelessness, where you have a database that is holding all of your state, but you don't actually do anything with it. Cool. Right. So let's create a mutable variable in Enso. This is a sort of low-level API that we will be abusing, but that's fine. We'll figure out something better. So you can create what is called a ref. So you can go ref.new and you give it an initial value. Let's give it an initial value of 0, right?
So this is new APIs today. Yeah,
this should be cool. Right. So we have a ref. Ref is kind of like a pointer if you have ever used C++ or any other such ugly language. But this API will allow us to have a mutable variable that we can read and we can write to and hold our state. So as an experiment, I think it would be cool, for example, to create a simple counter that will, every time someone visits the A page, every time sometimes goes to the A page, we increment the counter and we display the current value of the counter. Perfect. So this will be a sort of mutable memory.
We're gonna get our GeoCities on and eventually end up with like a really horrific, huge widget for view count, right?
Yes. 2000 internet code. Right. So current equals ref.get myref. So this reads the current value of the reference under myref, and then we will modify that reference by saying ref.set. Is it set or is it put? I don't remember. I think it's put. I don't know. We'll see.
I'm sure Enso will tell us.
Yeah, probably. Right, and then we go current.
Ara says it's put.
That's great. Thank you, Ara.
I love when we Twitch stream and the whole team comes on the pair program. It's great.
I mean, they are saving our butts a lot, to be honest.
For sure.
Right. So we want to respond with the current dot to text, and we want to close the HTML tags. Right.
Sorry, just one thing I forgot to mention. As ever, you can ask questions no matter where you are. I've got both YouTube and Twitch open over here. I will be keeping an eye out. So if you have questions at any point, you are free to ask and we will try and answer them during the show. Sorry.
Right. Okay. I think we are done with this logic for now. So I'm running, as you can see, on the version 0.2.4, which is the newest release. Actually, if you go to our release page on Enso, this release is already up.
Mere hours ago.
Yes, exactly. Just before stream, I was like, hey, Ara, is it up yet? Is it up yet? Is it up yet? Can I use it yet? So yeah, I can use it.
Perfect. Why is my camera keep going up?
The server has started, so let's go to our A route and see what happens. Right, and now I'm gonna keep refreshing the page. And nothing will happen. Isn't that unfortunate? Right. So maybe it's ref.set after all. Oh no, I haven't set. I haven't told it where to put it. Right. So
okay. So you have to also name them. Got you. That makes sense.
Well, yeah, those are just like this.
Oh, you did name it up there. I just yeah.
Yeah, I just forgot to pass it to ref.put,
cool.
right?
Cool. Yeah.
I didn't provide the new value, which is why nothing happened, because then this became a carried function that was expecting one more argument.
Got you.
Okay. Right. Is this going to be a better demo? I quit it accidentally. Okay. one more round of waiting.
If you are watching and thinking about ref and like, oh, that solves one of my problems, Ara has noted in chat that I should note that the ref API is a bit awkward due to some technical limitations that we hope to lift soon. So stay tuned.
Why is this happening? Hide. Okay,
There's
so
a
the
lot of you on
server
YouTube
is
today. Thank you for
started.
joining us.
Okay, now when I keep refreshing the page, the counter increases.
Beautiful. Look at all those views.
Yes.
We're such a big deal.
Yeah, I think this already qualifies as a seed VC financing
We're the
round.
next viral sensation.
Yeah.
Eat your heart out, DHH, Enso on Rails, the big new framework.
Yeah. Maybe don't advertise it so hard. I have a feeling that we have a tiny bit more work to do before that becomes reality.
Just a little bit.
Right. Okay. So we have mutable state. Now, what's the problem with that? Why don't I like this? I don't like this because I have handcrafted a piece of HTML using string concatenation, and that is not the best way to render websites. So this is where we need to start thinking about templating systems. So the goal for this is I want to move all of this HTML to a file somewhere in this directory structure, and then I want to just go my template.render, provided the current counter, and we should be good to go.
Cool.
Okay, so polyglot.js. Well, normal.js first. So I was thinking about using this wonderful library called EJS,
I'm familiar with that.
which allows us to write things like this, right? So we have HTML that's interleaved with JS, and we can use a JS library to render this into static HTML that will display on our website. So how does one go about doing all of this? So first of all, we need to get our hands on an EJS instance, and we will be using the browser distribution of EJS. So the problem with our polyglot.js is that it does not currently support all of the Node.js intrinsic values. So we really need to use the browserify versions of all the APIs.
Cool. And that's due to a Graal limitation, right?
Correct. Yes. So Graal.js is just a JS runtime. It doesn't really provide the Node.js bindings to polyglot languages. So if you download Graal, you can play around with Node.js running on top of Graal.js. But that's a standalone application. That's not something that is embedded in Enso yet.
Got you.
So let's go to the releases page and download some EJS.
Excuse me while I change the playlist to something that isn't slowly sending me to sleep.
Right. So I'm going to create two directories, well, containing each other. So I have just created a directory called polyglot/js. I'm going to move our EJS sources into said directory. So now if I refresh here, yes, I have my EJS instance. Okay, so how do we...
Hugh doesn't hear music. So do other people hear music? Do you hear music?
I hear music, yes.
Hugh, this sounds like a you problem. Anyway, sorry.
Right. So we have a JS library. First of all, how to load it. So Graal.js comes with a bunch of helpers for reading libraries. One of them is a function called load. So let's wrap it in Enso and then call it to get our hands on an instance of EJS. And actually, let's comment all of our server out for now, and we'll just be focusing on EJS. So, how do you call something in JS? Well, you just go polyglot JS. Foreign JS. It's foreign JS. Let's call it load EJS equals. Right. So what this does is it opens a foreign JS block. So I'm currently defining a method that is callable from Enso, but has an implementation written in JavaScript. Actually, let's go also path. And I can just call load path. So load is an intrinsic function that comes with GraalJS. It takes a file path and it executes whatever is in that file path. And then let's return the value of the EJS variable. So this is going to write into the global scope. And then we can just read the EJS variable from that scope. Yeah. Okay, so one thing I have to figure out is the path to this directory, to this JS file. So the way I'm going to do this is by using a magical type, a magical function called Enso project. Enso project is a handle to the current Enso project. It exposes a bunch of cool operations for working with relative file paths. So I can go root, and then no matter where I place this project on the hard drive, it's always going to point to this directory. Even if I move it. So if you have a project with some assets, some resources, some data files, you can use this to sort of be agnostic as to where the project lives.
And we'll be showing off a little bit of this in a remake of the Trams tutorial very soon. So you'll be able to follow along and learn how to use Enso_project.
Right, so I want to go into the polyglot directory, into the JS directory, and get ejs.js. Right, so this is the file. JS will expect me to provide a text path, so I'm going to get file.absolute.path, I think is what I want to do. And then ejs is here. If you have seen our learn x in y, you should know what here refers to. If you haven't, here is the current module. So everything I define in the current module is a method on the magical object called here. So here.load ejs p, and hopefully that should do it. So let's try running this. Let's close this.
That learn xy tutorial that Martin referenced is up on the screen now. It's enso-org learn x in y minutes. Ignore the readme. It says it's not complete. It is complete. We finished it. But it's one Enso file, which is a complete tutorial to, well, not complete, a tutorial to a lot of the language.
Yes. It follows the very unstructured structure of learn x in y, which is the consciousness stream of tutorials. Right, so this worked. Sort of. Well, no, it really worked. So I'm printing the EJS object, and what I'm printing is just what the object is, right? So this string representation of this object comes straight from JS. So now I have my hands on a JS object that I can use for actually doing things. Right. So we already have EJS. Now let's see how to use it.
While you're doing that, I should tell people that this is how we're doing JavaScript interrupt on the stream, which I neglected to mention on Twitter.
Okay. So the way we do this is we just call the render method of the object we got. So let's try doing that. So we open up an HTML body, and in it we will use the interpolation syntax, which is which uses this funky tag. How do I close it? Okay, I think this is all wrong. This is counter. Okay, is this
Let's see, the problem with using a template language is now you need to understand the templating language.
So we now have a templating language on top of JS that is being called from Enso, that is being called from Java to display and to do an HTTP server. We need to go deeper, and we actually will go deeper. So Python support coming soon. Expect at one point in the future. Expect Marcin Learns Python live stream. Right. Oh, one thing that I should also note here is that we have this very nice string syntax in Enso. You can open a string block, so you just go free quotes, either double quotes or single quotes. They have slightly different semantics, but let's not go into that. But anyway, you open a string block. Everything that is indented relative to the opening of the string block is going to be a part of that string with the margin trimmed to this point, right? So like the line that is most outdented is going to be to have 0 spaces in front of it, and you don't close this. This is quite
Great.
beautiful. You don't have to think about closing this.
Yeah.
We are indentation.
And that pause before you explained how the indenting worked is exactly why my VS Code extension renders this incorrectly.
Yes, that's a great point. Implementing this for the Vim syntax was probably the worst time I've ever had with Vim. Not very easy to parse, not very easy to color, but very easy to use. So hey, look at all the pain we are going through to deliver you the best possible experience.
Hey Maciek, thanks for joining us.
Okay, and also let's create a type that is called myCounter. It has a field called counter. Why that is, I will explain in a moment. But this should be enough to go result equals ejs.render my template with my counter 18. And let's print it and see if it actually works.
Sorry, I need to change the music again because Ara is never happy with my choices. Alright, again, we're just waiting for the official Enso TV jingle from a certain in-house music producer.
Okay, so this worked. You can see that I'm printing HTML body and I have an 18 here, which coincides with the value I stored in my counters. Let's talk about this my counter type and why this is important. So this goes slightly deeper into the magic that is Enso polyglot interop. Rendering a template requires you to pass an object that will contain your variables. Normally, this would be a JS object. Let me actually show you some example, if it exists. Yes. Well, no. Okay, yeah, this. So for example, here we have, they are defining a user's variable that contains a list of names, and then they have a template, and they call it, passing it an object that has a field called users, and that has the whatever value, right? So this is normally a JS object. And then the template has access to the user's variable. So every key in that object becomes a top level variable inside the template. Right? So this is the magic of EJS. Now combine it with the magic of Enso. where we don't actually construct a JS object. We construct an Enso type that has a field called counter. So the JS interop is going to display this type to JS as though it was a JS object, without any actual data copying or anything like that. But when the renderer is asking for the fields of the myCounter object, those fields are available here.
Cool.
Right? Okay, so we can do this now. So I think it's time to combine everything. And yeah. Okay, so let's change the template so that it actually does the same thing it was doing before. So we have my template equals HTML B so we have a template like this. Let's get rid of this for a moment and instead uncomment our server. So now if everything works correctly, we should be able to go ejs.render my template with my counter current.
Some deep thought going on here. My camera keeps focusing and refocusing. It's really annoying.
Have you tried turning it off and on again?
That would be a bad idea in the middle of the stream. Gonna leave you on your own.
Okay, so yeah, so this works. We now successfully used JavaScript to render an object that was created in Enso and send it through an HTTP server that was written in Enso combined with Java. Jesus, I really want to just keep growing this example everywhere and keep describing it this way. Right?
Do you play Cookie Clicker by any chance?
Should we write a cookie clicker?
That'd be very funny.
Huh.
I mean, if you want to get derailed and write Cookie Clicker, you're very welcome.
Look, my idea was to create a to-do list, but a cookie clicker sounds much more fun. Yeah, you've convinced me. We are creating cookie clicker.
We're entering a new generation of terrible Enso Flash games. I'm very into it.
Well, Flash is dead. Someone has to replace Flash. Why not Enso? This is a market niche I can see us filling. Okay, how do we do that? Let's get rid of all of those. Right, so we want a get route for the cookie. Well, actually, let's start with a simple refactoring. So I'm going to, because this HTML is probably going to keep growing, I'm going to move it out into a file. This will also be another great show of how we do relative paths. So let's create a data directory. Let's create an assets directory inside it. And let's call this index.ejs. And this should be great because this should give me syntax highlighting for everything. Yes.
cookies in the bank. So what have I done? This is like the biggest argument for Joe should just sit quietly on streams I've seen yet.
Yeah, I'm actually thinking I think we should go back to doing a to-do list. This is going to be more informative because
Okay.
we will be using like more involved types where each Enso type is going to be available from JS, and this is going to be more fun than just displaying a number. So
Cool.
yeah, sorry for that.
All good. Well, details are welcome.
Let's instead assume that we have, okay, yeah, let's get into the counter. We're gonna have a to-do, and the to-do currently only has a title, and to-do list is going to be...
We were getting some encouragement on YouTube about the cookie clicker, but it's okay. We've changed direction now. It's all good.
Cookie list instead. Oh, okay, yes.
A cookie list?
Whatever. It's, yeah, this, so we are going to model a bakery, right? Like you can bake new kinds of cookies, you can like sell them, I guess. You can eat parts of them.
Every time you check something off, you get a cookie. Oh, I see. Okay.
Ooh, even better.
You just keep changing the idea every 5 minutes.
Isn't this what like real software development is all about?
I think we were actually joking about this at the last stream, that we were going to do a stream where we keep changing the requirements every 10 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. You have to, and look how easy Enso is to refactor in the face of changing requirements. It's almost no effort at all. Right. So cookie has a name.
Do you have stakeholders who don't know what they want? Choose Enso.
And the bakery has a bunch of cookies. Okay, I like this. Okay, I see the question from Kimars. Is there a way to display the visual aspect of Enso onto the template, then edit the internal code from the external projection? Not with this system, not at all. So we are not currently touching the visual aspect of Enso. We are just creating a textual library for Enso. However, in the future, yes, Enso the IDE is going to come equipped with a system for creating simple web apps or dashboards, if you will, where you can write some logic in the visual Enso, and then the visual Enso is going to have a bunch of like sliders and visualizations. Well, it already has visualizations. It doesn't have sliders. It's going to have sliders at some point soon. And then you will be able to select a bunch of those sliders, a bunch of those inputs, and display them as a web application available for your end users. So for example, if you want to create like a reporting solution, or I don't know, a power plant management system, where you have some dashboarding joined with some control buttons and so on, you will be able to do that with the Enso IDE itself, not with this solution at all. This is literally Enso on Rails. So this is nothing special compared to doing development with any other language. The only reason we do it is to play around with JS and show you how cool it is that you can seamlessly call into JS and then back into Enso and so on and so forth. Right. So what I want to do is I want to display a list of all the cookies that we currently have in our bakery, for which I need to see how one does a loop in this system. Oh, okay. For each should just work. Right, let's do this. So we have our cookies stored under cookies. For each function cookie,
Keymar said thank you, by the way.
Missing the
Thank you
lie.
for your question, Keymars. Just to remind everyone else, you are also welcome to throw questions in any time. I see the viewer numbers have gone up a little bit, so if you're just joining us, 3 weeks back, Martin wrote a HTTP server for Enso using Java interop. Today we are returning to that web server to give it server-side rendering using the JavaScript interop. So Martin is currently wrapping EJS, one of the many JavaScript templating language options, and
right.
wrapping that to use it from Enso, so that our Java HTTP server in Enso can return server-side rendered web pages using JavaScript, which is very nice.
Yeah, so let's read this file that I have just created.
Cool.
This is great because I already have syntax highlighting. So this is quite simple. This requires a cookies variable to be passed to it, and for each cookie we are going to display the name of that cookie in a nice list, and hopefully it all works.
If you're also just tuning in, by cookies we mean the sweet and tasty snack, not browser cookies. We're making a cookie store for reasons I'm not entirely clear. Something happened in chat. A collision of ideas from things said on stream and chat.
I think we started with making a cookie clicker, but then I wanted a to-do list. So now we are making a cookie to eat list, I guess. It's the personal planner for the Cookie Monster.
But are we talking about cookies in the American sense of the word? What when in Poland, when you say cookies, what kind of biscuits do they describe? This is a big point of controversy in my household.
So a cookie in Poland is pretty much any small baked good.
Right. So you're Americans then?
I don't know. Like are biscuits cookies in the US? Or like scones, for example.
Yes.
Scone would be a cookie.
Oh wait, so even more broad. Any small oh, I see what you're saying. A scone is a cookie? Whew.
A sweet scone, yeah.
Interesting. Huh. In the UK, a cookie is a very specific thing. Like explicitly just a chocolate chip cookie, basically. That's how finely scoped it has to be.
I always thought this is the same in the US.
No, the US it's only biscuit, and it's a crime. And by biscuits, they mean the savoury things that they put in gravy.
Oh yeah, that's true. Okay. Yeah, everything is a cookie. And also, a lot more things are cakes. So like, for example, an apple pie is a cake in Poland.
I see. Yeah, we have to be careful in the UK because British companies are known to sue over what's a cake and what's a biscuit. American biscuits are scones, but it turns out scones and gravy is nice. Oh, I never realised American biscuits were just scones. Huh.
Right, so what? Chocolate chip cookie. Let's make brownie a cookie. Let's piss everyone off.
Oof, this is going to be a tough stream.
Right, so current cookies is...
RS says a brownie is a cake. The next engine stand up is going to be awkward.
Whatever. The next cookie is gonna be chicken wings. Just I mean, it's technically.
I mean, it can be a small baked good, yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't think we would go that far. No, it has to be dessert, right? Like cookie has to be dessert.
Oh, okay, it has to be dessert, right? That's the sensible line in the sand we're drawing.
Right, current cookies is ref.get state. We don't modify it for now, so let's leave it because I will forget if it's put or set again. And then I want to render the index template, and I want to pass it the current cookies.
we need to stop talking about chicken wings. I've been eating vegetarian food, and I say that rather than saying I'm a vegetarian. I've not been eating meat now for 2 years, but on my birthday I was like, fuck it, I deserve this. And I did order myself an enormous portion of Korean chicken wings, and this is bringing back the weakness. Marshmallows and sweet potato pie. Yeah. I attended American Thanksgiving only once in my life, and it was very kind of them to invite me. But the food, that a lot of it was really great. It all tasted wonderful, but it was doing things with sweetness in main course dishes that I'd never seen before.
I don't get that at all with American food. Like for example, why do they confuse breakfast with dessert? Like, it's never got. I never got pancakes even.
To be fair, it's better than European breakfast, which like mainland European breakfast are like a dry croissant and maybe some fruit is. This is the one redeeming feature about English cuisine, which is the full English breakfast.
English breakfast is the best, except for the beans. I don't understand the beans, but
how dare you?
I can live with them. Okay, so this is success or after success. So we have successfully displayed a list of cookies. Those are predefined for now. So I'm thinking we create a form for submitting new kinds of cookies, and then we will start eating the cookies.
Perfect.
Right, so how do we do that?
How do we make a form?
Yeah, how do you make a form? Exactly. It's not even funny. So we want a form.
Yeah.
That has 2 inputs. Well, 1 input, 1 submit button.
Mm-hmm.
Is it a good time to go to W3 schools and?
Yeah, I was just wondering if because this will need to be submitted, right? So it's going to need to send info somewhere.
Yeah, that's the whole point, right? Like we want to have a post endpoint in our server that will accept things from this. The submit button. Oh, okay. So we go action. Right.
I feel like we need like a foghorn or something for every time W3 Schools is opened on this stream. Just like MOG air horn, like.
Right, so we're gonna post 2 cookies because we are a RESTful framework. So we post 2/cookies, and we go input.
The exception noise is a good shout, Aaron.
Right, we want input type equals text. Sure, why not? Text. How do we? Those need to be double quotes, don't they? There's too many languages going on at once. I'm getting.
Yeah, you
confused.
are really jumping around.
Okay, so we have an input that's called the name, and we then want. We want what? We want a submit. Okay, so input type equals submit value equals something. Input type equals submit. Was it value? What did I want for that? Yeah, value. Value equals. Okay, is this gonna work? Oh, thank you, Kimars. let's add method equals post.
Sorry, I am very distracted because Hugh mentioned Irish breakfast and I've been trying to find the location of the one good breakfast place in Amsterdam.
What's Irish breakfast?
It's basically English breakfast but with better black pudding.
Nice.
I expect Hugh's going to be angry in chat any moment now.
Ooh, and
That's hash browns an English breakfast? What are you talking about? Did you say what are hash browns?
Huh?
Did you say what are hash browns?
No, I said ooh, hash browns.
Oh, good.
I was manifesting excitement because damn, I could have some hash browns. Can we stop talking about food?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, yeah, there is something. Right, so let's. Okay, what's a good cookie? What's your favorite cookie, Joe? It can't be chocolate chip.
Oh, it has to be an actual cookie. Oh my god, Bourbons. Let's have some Bourbons.
Wait, what? What's that word?
This is a biscuit. Bourbon.
Oh, like the alcohol.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but they're like a chocolate. They're like a chocolate wafer situation.
Okay, cool. So I think we posted 2 cookies, but we cannot handle that yet, which is great. It's exactly what we want. Right. So we want to go server.route cookies. I'm just gonna print whatever that form returns because I'm really afraid of the format of what an HTML form submits. I hope it's JSON. Is it JSON? Is it?
You know, I don't actually know. It's not JSON, says.
That's what I was afraid of.
It's application x www form URL encoded. Thank you, actual web developer Hugh Rawlinson.
Variable current cookies is not defined. What? Oh, that's true. It's not.
Oh, so it will come in query parameters?
Yeah, like a query string?
Yeah.
I mean, that kind of makes sense. I wonder how do we deal with that in Java? That's gonna be fun. Nice. Okay, yeah, so we get something that should be quite easy to parse actually. I guess we can just split that string on equals and get the second element and hope for the best. Oh, or I could use actual Java API. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hugh. This sounds like something that will be more informative. And maybe.
Oh god, this page.
Yeah, why is it? Ooh, URL encoder Java 11. Now this is much nicer.
Whilst we're on an Oracle page, I have just seen a tweet come past my feed from the CTO of GitHub that says every tech stock is down today except for Oracle. Takes you back.
Wait, this translates a string into application encoded. I want to parse it, so I probably want a URL decoder. Okay, but I still have to do the splitting on strings. Oh, right, but like special characters are going to be handled better, I guess. Because like, what happens if I put a space in it? Yeah, that becomes a plus. Right, so we have to shove it into the decoder.
Okay.
And then split on spaces. And we're gonna be fine. Okay, so what's the name of this class? java.net.url decoder. Right, so a quick reminder, if you didn't watch the first stream, we just go polyglot java import java.net.url decoder.
Hugh dropped a. Oh, is that? Sorry, I should probably check. Does that have a browser version, Hugh?
Yeah, is it? Oh, yeah. That would be nice if it can be browserified.
So the can't tell from the npm page. Well, I might be reading it incorrectly.
Okay, I'm just gonna continue with this, and then maybe we swap it for the better solution. If one, why am I typing? In okay, yeah, I'm switching languages way too much today. This is not how you.
There is an absolutely cracking line in the README for this JavaScript query string library that Hugh has posted, which is, by default, QS will only pass up to 1,000 parameters. When is that ever a problem?
That brings me back to my web dev days. So I was writing an application for a corporate client.
Yeah.
Which was supposed to work on, I think, Internet Explorer 8.
Right.
Wait, this still uses require. Oh, we don't have the correct syntax for this, so we'll have to ignore this.
Okay. Hugh has found a browserify version of QS. Thank you for that, Hugh.
No, I just went to this. So this is the one that we cannot use because we can't currently support the module.export syntax.
I see.
We will be able to do this, but more details to come.
Cool.
So for now, we'll just stick to Java. So yeah, anyway, I was working for a corporate client. We had to make a website work on Internet Explorer 8. Mm-hmm. And our designer added a bunch of CSS, and then the whole website just started like randomly breaking in very, very random places. And so debugging that was a hell. Turns out that the developers of Internet Explorer 8 decided to squeeze more information into a single int for counting the rules in a single CSS file. So in Internet Explorer 8, there was this limit of 4,096 rules per CSS file. If you loaded any more, they just started to randomly like overflow, and your CSS would not work at all.
Yeah, that's not even a particularly high amount.
Yeah, it's like 12 bytes. I think they've taken a short and then decided to like squeeze the 12 bytes and something else onto that short just to optimize something. So yeah, not
the
great.
Horrors of the web.
Okay, so we have the decoded request, and then parse is decode.split on equals. And then we want to value equals parts dot drop the first one dot join with equals again. Right, so this will split on every equals. I don't think we can provide a limit to this, which by the way we should fix. But anyway, we split on equals, then we drop the first part, which we understand to be the name equals something bit, and then we rejoin the rest with equals, which should be no op in most cookie names, because most cookie names don't contain equals in their names. But better safe than sorry. Right. So then the new cookie is going to be a cookie with value. And then new bakery is going to be current cookies. Well, it's going to be bakery. Actually, let's do object-oriented programming, because why not?
Madman.
Yeah.
You get there. We got there.
Add cookie, new cookie, and this will return a new bakery with the new cookie at the top of the list. So plus this dot cookies, and I'm actually going to use parentheses because that got very dense randomly.
Whoa. Okay, I see. Cool.
Right, so new bakery is going to be current. Let's change the name to bakery. Bakery dot add cookie, new cookie, and then we write it to the reference. So we go ref dot put. What was the state? New bakery, and we want to display the new bakery. Right, let's also add a bunch of prints in case this doesn't work.
I need to stop fiddling with stuff. How are we feeling?
We are about to test the product. So let's go to the main page. Yes, new cookie, bake it. This page isn't working. Well, that makes me very unhappy.
How are you feeling, chat? You've gone quiet on us. Any questions? Any comments? Do we need to bring back the breakfast discourse? I'm glad you're feeling excited.
Okay, so we are very much failing somewhere. Where did we go with the prints? We print the decoded value, so that's fine. But then it seems like this got broken. Is bakery supposed to be capitalized? Not here, no. So here we define the type called bakery. We have a bunch of methods on it. And here we just use a bakery, which is supposed to be the value that we already set there. So this is just a variable name. And then we call add cookie on the bakery because it's an object, right? Like Enso is an object-oriented language. I'm confused. Also, the thing that is really annoying is that under the hood, the HTTP server from Java is like running everything on some thread somewhere that we don't even control at this point, because we didn't actually care enough to add control over the thread. So like if something fails, it fails silently, which is not great.
Right. How would we fix that? Like, is there, I guess to make my question explicit, is there anything we can do in the wrapping of that library to make those thread failures visible within the Enso errors?
There probably is, yes. So most Java libraries, I assume this one as well. Let me actually check.
Sorry, I'm taking you on a tangent, but my thought was that if we put this out into the world, maybe someone will go to the HTTP server repo and have a go.
Probably, yes. This could be done. So, wait, how do we create a server? Oh yeah, you can set an executor, right?
Oh, cool.
So the executor is something that takes a job and executes it. So, for example, we could make it a single-threaded executor, or we could make it into an executor that uses some version of an Enso thread under the hood, instead of the default, which I think the default is whatever, I don't know.
Yeah.
Probably a sensible default for Java that is not so sensible for us. Right, so let's go to /cookies and let's bake a cookie. Okay, this seems to work. But then, oh, I see what's happening. I think I see what's happening. So if we have a vector, wait, this is already a vector. I think the drop method, yes, exactly. See, we had to use drop start instead of drop. So that thread is failing with an exception, and then Java ignores it silently.
Cool.
But yeah, we have a drop
Loves
start.
this pulling up the IDE to check the standard library.
Yeah, that's as close as we get to documentation.
We're working on it. Okay, the pull request is open. I actually think it's open in the. I think that repo is public as well. One sec. It is. If you are so interested, viewers, Maciek, who was hanging around in the chat, wrote the Enso docstring parser and generator that produces the docs in the searcher, I believe, in the IDE. And he is working on sticking those, on having those docs be generated whenever we build. Working on having those docs be generated whenever Enso is built, so that we can finally have standard library documentation on the interwebs.
Hey, okay, so this works. That is absolutely fantastic. Yeah, so what we can do is we can now add cookies. What's a different cookie?
I like how the barrier with the stream is not being able to think of enough cookies. Digestives. They're not a cookie, but that's...
Oh, they are a cookie very much. In Poland, at least.
Ooh, crimes.
Same as ladyfingers.
Perfect.
Also cookies. Everything is a cookie. Okay, and now if I go there from another browser, hey, we got it.
Nice.
Right. So we have a. Well, let's not be afraid of calling it that. We have a fully functional web application.
So, sorry again. Node.js has broken my brain. If it's available on the internet and I went to that site, would I see that full list, or is it mission specific?
Sorry, you have to repeat something. One of us got cut off. Yeah.
Yeah. So I said, sorry, Node.js has broken my brain. If this was exposed to the internet and I went to this site, would I see that full list, or is it session specific?
No, you would see the whole list. So this is cool. Is global for the server.
It's global state. Nice.
Yeah. I don't think I have a public IP to show it to you, but would be a nice experiment.
Could
right.
Engrocket? It's not worth the time.
Okay, what else do we do?
Well, you wanted to make... Oh, well, I guess that's not an interesting problem. What else do we do? Chat, what do you want? What do you want to see? What do you want us to do? You've got 40 minutes. What else would you like to see in a library such as this? What do you do in your excellent websites?
About cookies.
About cookies.
Ooh, do we want like persistence? Do we want to add a database to all of this?
That'd be cool.
Ooh, yes, we do. Yes, we do, because I actually have a very... Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Hugh also suggested serving media or serving files from the file system, and I guess that kind of comes hand in hand with persistence.
That's... yeah. Well, no, I think what Hugh says is like serving media, like serving static assets.
Got you.
But that is going to be a lot of Java and very little Enso, which I'm not really up for, right? Like
Sure.
this would make us go way deeper in that into that library that I'm actually interested in.
Okay.
But let's serialize the state of all of this to JSON, and then I can show you a very cool feature of the JSON parser.
Okay.
Which is automatic serialization. So instead of state, we will now have a storage, right? Like
Hugh says, I guess we can't see this Enso file in the visual editor.
no, we can't. You can't, because this whole thing is very asynchronous. So the node editor doesn't know about this yet.
Yeah. So there's Armour and Marcin got into it a little bit in the previous stream about where they were talking about design language. CLI Enso executes slightly differently to, well, not slightly differently, executes differently to Visual Enso because of the very different mediums. And we spoke about this, I think, in more detail when we first wrote the HTTP server, but this would not, make any sense in Visual Enso. But
actually,
you could, write things that interact with this in Visual Enso as part of the same project, I guess. And then execute them all on the command line. Like, you can use the Visual Enso just as an IDE.
Okay, I need another. Ooh, that's an ugly error. Let's get rid of the ugly error. I need to know how does one write files in Enso. So I have a file.
Oh, look at those lovely data flow errors. Speaking of which, last week I lied and told you that the Enso release with data flow errors will be out before the end of the week. It is imminent. It is fast approaching now. I believe it's being tested today. So hopefully we'll have an email with you all tomorrow about the new release. And the two big things are data flow errors. So you will finally know if things are broken in the IDE. And the other big... hi, Wojtek. The other big thing is data frames in the IDE. So data frames... Hang on, I can't remember exactly. Previously, data frames didn't... Something was wrong with data frames in the IDE, and I've forgotten what it was.
Data frames could not be really displayed in the IDE. Everything would just blow up because of the amount of data that was being sent between the backend and the IDE. And hopefully we have fixed that. Right. So the storage file is going to be ensoproject.data/cookies.json. And what I want to do now is every time I put something here, I also want to store the bakery. So new bakery dot store in the storage file. Let's see if that does anything.
Whilst you're now here, Wojtek, I was talking about the fact we have a new website on the horizon earlier. Don't feel put on the spot. Don't feel obliged to give us any details. But is there any dates you can share about when people would be able to see the work of art that you and our lovely designer have been working on?
Right, so we are now serializing all the cookies in a file every time something happens, right? So nice. I have this file. If I add another cookie and bake
we've really forgotten. We can't think of any more cookie names now.
Yeah, like I mean I can keep going in Polish, but that's going to make this whole thing even more esoteric, I think. Right. So now we want to read this JSON, and we have very nice facilities for reading JSON. So
we do.
Current cookies equals. Right. So let me show you something. In the standard library tests, which, as you already said, those are the best documentation for how to use Enso.
Mm-hmm.
In particular, I'm not sure how to use it sometimes myself, if there's a feature that I have not used for a long time. But the idea should be, so we have those two types here. This. So if I have two types defined like this,
yeah,
I can then use the into method of a JSON to pass it a type into which everything should be automatically deserialized.
Okay.
So I don't have to like manually build a builder. Just the type itself.
So it's doing that.
Set.
Cool. So let's say it's doing that by field. So it's matched. So like where it says book title, it's looking for the title field in the JSON object.
Exactly. Yes.
Cool.
Those names are not even necessary here. So this is just a helper for me to know like what type I'm setting to what. But
okay.
Yeah.
So without those fields, just do it on order.
No, because look, those fields are already defined here, right?
Oh,
so when I'm passing it a type book,
Yeah.
my builder is going to go, oh, okay, so this is a type book. A type book expects something to be a title, right? So
I see.
Right, so we want to parse the JSON. JSON.parse storage initial cookies. This is going to be JSON. Initial cookies JSON is storage file.read. The parentheses. And now what we can do is we can use the into. So cookies. Well, how many O's go into a cookie? It's initial cookies JSON.
Sorry, just jumping back to the earlier conversation about not being able to open this file in the visual editor. Wojtek has expanded, so I'll read that out for folks who are not on the Twitch chat. Wojtek says, I think it's worth noting here that we can see the file in visual editor, so you can load it and you will see, the file. However, because here they're using the asynchronous programming model, the visual environment doesn't have dedicated support for non-data flow flows, i.e. like the visual editor, is a graph builder, right? And so like it assumes things are joined in a data flow way, and so the order of these asynchronous calls will not display correctly in the visual editor, and that's okay because we feel that creating low-level libraries like highly async functions such as a web server, custom data streaming, custom data serialization, etc. is perfectly fine to write in text, whilst the visual environment is perfect for building data flow graphs, and thus further advantages of having a dual syntax language.
Yes, everything that Wojciech said is very true. It's almost as if he knew this product pretty well.
He might have some passing familiarity with it.
Yeah. Almost like Wojciech, you should be the CEO of this company. Hey, okay, we have full persistence, so I have just restarted the server, but the cookies that were there before still exist. Although now I kind of regret the names I gave them because those are here forever. Right. What's another cookie? Coconut cookie. Is there such a thing?
Yeah, there's gotta be. There is that like, what's that like dome-shaped thing with like the coconut flakes on top of it?
I gotta let people eat cookies. Yes.
So I tried to find like a name of this thing I'm describing, and so I searched coconut dome, and I've just now got loads of recipes for coconut domes, which is definitely not what they're called.
But I'm sure coconut domes are called coconut domes. But
Lamington? Maybe it's the Lamington?
Macaroons, says Kimars.
Macaroons.
Yeah, macaroons.
Lamingtons work. This is definitely a cake though, again, isn't it, Ara? Wojtek wife. Oh, it's I just clicked on the YouTube link that Wojtek shared and got the most horrific ad. What is even happening in this?
Okay, server.route cookies eat. Right, so I'm gonna let people eat cookies, as Ara said. That's a great idea.
Let them eat cake.
Do you want to start a revolution? Because this is how you start a revolution. Right. What do I want to do with this? I'm always up for a revolution. Well, we really are exploring new territories today for this stream.
Perfect. We like that's what the streams are for.
First name.
You need to be careful saying things like that on the Bezos internet, Hugh.
Okay, so what I've done is I have refactored the logic of parsing the URL encoded key value pairs so that I can reuse the same in the it endpoint, which is going to take a name of a cookie from the request, and then it's going to remove all the cookies with this name, which I know it's not really how a bakery works. Like if you eat one cookie of a given kind, you don't eat all the cookies of the given kind. But whatever, it's a cookie monster bakery.
You'll be forgiven for a not completely accurate to real life bakery.
You think?
Twitch chat is generous.
Right. I remove cookie by name equals. Right, and then we go bakery of this dot cookies dot filter cookie, and cookie dot name is not name. This should do it. So then we go new bakery is bakery dot remove cookie by name of name. And then this. Oh no, now I have to add a smaller form. Ooh, yeah, how is it even going to work? I haven't thought this through, have I?
Me every time I write any code.
Yeah, it's this is quite unfortunate. Well, let's just give it a new form, I guess, with an action of /cookies/eat and the method of post, because we all know that post is the only action that should be used for removing something. It's in the name. Input. Oh, we can use a hidden input. This is the best. Wait, how do I interpolate inside the? Ooh, this is going to go badly, isn't it?
Why should that not just work?
I have no idea. It's it looks scary for sure, but let me double check. I have never seen a good templating language that would allow me to do it. So I'm
pretty sure Jekyll allows that.
Wait, isn't Jekyll like ERB or something like that?
No, it's not stylus. Liquid. It's liquid.
I never used it.
I wouldn't recommend it.
Okay.
Have you seen the source for our DevDoc site? It is spicy.
I have not, and I think that's pretty great that I haven't. That means the site works without me having to see the source. Input type equals it. No, type is submit. Type is not it. Name value is it. Okay. Do we close the form? Okay, I think we should be done, and we should just cross our fingers and hope for the best.
We are starting to get towards the end of our stream for the day, so if anyone has any questions, throw them in there while you have the opportunity. Just a reminder, next week will be our last stream for a little while. Do we know what we're doing next week?
I don't think we do, no.
Again, we're waiting on features.
Yeah,
we bring you the hottest new Enso features as soon as they're ready.
There's a whole chain of dependencies in all of this, and quite honestly, we are at the very end of this chain. Just politely asking people to do things for us. Okay, eat this cookie, and the page isn't working. Well, what can I say? Other than I have failed. Right, what's happening here? Bakery. See what happened here. But yeah, I think this is a good time to start summarizing what we have achieved, because quite honestly, the Enso code here looks very innocent.
Really
it doesn't look very JS-y, but the thing that's going on under the hood, I want to, well, after we debug eating cookies, I want to get into what is actually happening under the hood, because it is quite extraordinary for, I think, any programming language.
This has now made me want a static site generator as well.
Sorry?
So this is like seeing you wrap a templating language like this has now made me want like an Enso static site generator as well. It's really nice.
Wait, what happened there? Okay, so we get to removing new cookie, but the new bakery is not constructed, so something goes wrong in between. If remove cookie by name, it filters all the cookies. Do we not have the not equals operator? Could this be possible? Let me check. I don't want to believe that.
Really?
I don't
Is it
know.
not? Is it slash instead of bang?
That would be very strange, honestly.
Is it just on text that it doesn't?
Yeah, this doesn't exist.
Do you have?
Well, we have to just go like our fathers used to. But yeah, this is quite an omission.
Who will be the first to open that pull request? Go chat, go.
Yeah, actually, that
is
actually
quality
would be
is that in the built-ins or is that in the? Where is that where's Boolean is built-in, right?
No, but that doesn't matter. We should be able to do not equals. Like I can even show you where to go. If you go to our repository, you go to the directory distribution, standard library base, and then there is data and extensions. Here is where we define equality, and we also define things like the generic greater and lower operators. So we want to define that on any, because any type can define equality, but not equality is probably just derived from equality, right? So we want to just go any dot not equals blah. Ara just added it. Damn it! I was fishing for outside contributors, and then Ara did all the work.
Thanks, Ara.
Hey! And eating cookies now works. I said now works. Yes, we can. Okay, yeah, I can get rid of the ugly cookie. So we have coconut cookie, chocolate chip cookie. What was the name of the? Oh, macaroons. Yes, we want to add a macaroon. Let's bake it, and let's verify that it actually still stores in the. Yeah, we still have macaroons. Let's eat the macaroon now. And refresh this file, and the macaron is gone. So yeah, we have a fully functional bakery where if you order one cookie, they are automatically out of stock for that cookie forever.
Yes, we have a bona fide Enso web app.
Yes. That should go to production. Okay, so the thing I really want to stress about what happened here, because it's actually quite cool that there isn't too much JS code.
Right.
I actually imagined that we would need more JS code for gluing EJS and Enso, but it turns out there is absolutely nothing like that. So check this out. As a summary, we have imported a library called EJS, and then we just call it, right? So in every route in my server, I'm calling EJS.render, passing it the template which is this template, and a bakery object. Now bakery is an Enso type that is called bakery. A bakery stores a vector of cookies. Each cookie has a name. Now, notice how we are using that. We are accessing cookies straight on the bakery, right? So the bakery has a cookies method.
Yeah.
And this just works by default by calling into cookies. Then we take the vector, we convert it to array, and then, so this is an Enso array at this point, but JS methods such as for each or map or reduce that may not be implemented in Enso, or may be implemented differently in Enso, that doesn't matter. We are going to call the JS code for iterating over that array. And then for each cookie, we can access the property cookie.name without writing any glue code between JS and Enso. It's from the JS perspective, it's almost as if the types bakery and cookie were defined as classes in JS, and the same is going on the other way around. If you look at this, so we have read the EJS library, and this is just a JS object. But in Enso, once again, the same as with Java, we are just calling EJS.render. We pass a bunch of arguments that were created in Enso. So this is, I think this is quite extraordinary. I'm really proud of this interop system.
So you should be. It's beautiful.
I think it's one of the coolest features of the textual Enso, in my opinion.
It's certainly like, I always feel like using like FFI in some languages, like you have to put on your wellies and get ready to wade into, a whole other world.
Yes, you have to understand a lot about the underlying structure of objects of both languages, really, right? While here, thanks to the magic of GraalVM and Truffle, we get all of that for free. Yeah. Well, not for free, but it's possible to.
For considerable work on your behalf, the user gets it for very little.
Yes, exactly. Like the GraalJS makes it even possible, right? Like without Graal, none of that can be done, right? If you imagine, like, for example, how Python represents objects versus how Ruby represents objects.
Yeah,
those are two very different object representations.
Nice.
But under GraalVM, both Ruby and Python can exchange objects as easily as we can exchange objects with them.
Cool. So that's now Java and JS with, nice polyglot. What's next?
In general, or for this project?
For for the language interop. Like, are you working on any other languages at the moment?
We will be working on adding Python, I think, quite soon. So probably in the coming weeks. Until end of March, we should have at least a prototype of Python interoperation on the same level of deep interoperability, where you don't really have to think about where the object comes from. I think this is the biggest boon. Like I don't really care that EJS is defined in JS. It's just an object that I can use.
Yeah. Cool. But for this project, I guess an interesting question is what we're going to do with this on the GitHub repo, because HTTP server was like built like a library. This is now its own web app. So I guess it'd be better to push this to its own repo.
This is quite tricky because we don't have a good dependency management system for Enso yet.
Right.
This is going to be one of the priorities soon also, I guess. Wojciech is in the chat right now, so he can confirm or deny. But I believe that sharing libraries between users should be a very high priority task soon, because a lot of people are going to be
confirmed.
Because both us and other people are going to be creating a lot of like even micro libraries like this, or like ZeroPad.
Yeah, I mean, as we've demonstrated, you've created a package ecosystem just in the last 5 live streams. So
yeah, it's a shame that other people cannot really use those packages very easily. And right now, every library we create has to be shipped with Enso, which is a very bad thing. So yeah, we'll be working on it soon.
Cool. Awesome.
And then,
but for now, we'll get the code up somewhere.
Question.
Yeah.
And then answering your question, then we can split this into 2 different libraries, like one EJS wrapper, one HTTP server, and have some sort of package manifesto that says, please use both.
So for now, we'll just put this code in the existing repo, and people can hack around with it as they will.
Correct. Once again, this is not a real library. It's just me having fun with things.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it could be turned into a real library if you are brave enough.
I'm now no longer sure what's happening in chat. Oh, okay, cool. So let's call it there. Thank you very much again for your... Oh, I see. Okay, got you. Okay, there is jokes happening.
Okay, yeah. So it's okay. Yeah. It's corporate speak.
We're doing corporate speak. Thank you for circling back on that and providing the clarity I needed to synergize with you all. So let's end the stream here. Thank you very much. So we will announce what the finale of this season of Enso Live will be sometime on the platforms. Other thing I want to tell you, last week we had our first office hours on Wednesday, same time, so 2 p.m. UTC, 3 p.m. European time, sometime on the other continents. On Wednesday, tomorrow. Last week we had the first one of those. It was a lot of fun. It ended up being the whole team, like the entire company came and joined the voice chat. So if you would like to join in with that, we'll be on the Discord, discord.gg tomorrow. Ostensibly, it will be 2 Enso team members who will be there to answer any questions you have, but I predict that we'll end up having a party in there again. So come join us at 2.
It's gonna be 2 members to answer the questions, 10 other members just to hang out and troll.
Yeah. We're just going to be in there having a good time. So if you have any questions or you want to come chat with us, that'll be 2 p.m. tomorrow on Discord, 2 p.m. UTC, discord.gg Enso. And if you enjoyed this show and you want to make sure you don't miss the last episode, you can catch us here on Twitch. You can follow us, same username on YouTube, also on Twitter, and if you want to get the code that Martin has been working on today, you can do so at enso.org and then HTTP server rather than /enso. So yeah, thank you so much, Martin. We'll catch you next week and we'll announce what's coming up when we can. Bye everyone.
Bye.